bodies. I think about all of my problems. They be outside before they come off us. I stay in my own lane, I'm staying the trendy. Yo, back up, we're right out the checks. They see drip, come clean up the mess.
Allegheny Middle School and Alderdice High School.
The organ plays Amazing Grace. A mother clutches her tissue. A child fidgets in the pew. Then 20 shots crack through the air. Bodies hit the floor. Not from prayer, from bullets. Destiny of Faith Church, Brighton Heights, Pittsburgh. The funeral for 20-year-old John James Hornezes Jr. has just become a crime scene. Outside, 6 people bleed on church steps. Inside, 300 mourners scramble for exits that might lead to death. But this massacre? It started 13 days earlier. October 15th, 10:05 p.m. A Sunoco gas station on Cedar Avenue. Betty Jean Averett, 59, grandmother of 7, stood at her usual bus stop. Jacqueline Mahalik, 33, rushed past on her way to work, the late shift. They had 12 seconds left to live. The men with guns weren't aiming for them. Betty and Jacqueline just happened to exist in the space between hatred and revenge. By the time the shooting stopped, 3 bodies lay on North Side concrete. One of them was John Hornezes Jr., the same man whose funeral would become the next target. Welcome to True Crime Anatomy. Thank you to our amazing subscribers for being here with us. May your families stay safe wherever they are. Today we're taking you inside a case that shook Pittsburgh to its core. A story of revenge that turned neighborhood streets into battlegrounds. For our returning viewers and those just joining us, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share because we bring you the parts the media never reported. The evidence they didn't show, the connections they missed. This is the story of how a funeral became a crime scene. John James Hornezes Jr. turned 20 in August. His godmother, Paige Davis, called him ambitious, trying to find his way. But the North Side streets had their own plans for young men. October 14th, 24 hours before the shooting, Hornezes posted a photo with friends, smiling, throwing up hand signs. The caption's gone now, but investigators would later trace the digital footprints of an escalating conflict. The beef started over territory. Who could stand where? Who controlled which corners? Typical street politics that usually ended with posturing, maybe a fistfight. Sharon Troutman, 19. Jalone Hines, 21. Samuel Pez, 30. These names meant nothing to Betty Averett or Jacqueline Mahalik. But on October 15th, their paths would cross in the worst way possible. Text messages recovered later showed the tension building, threats traded, locations shared. Someone mentioned the Sunoco on Cedar. Someone else said they'd handle it. By 10 p.m. on October 15th, 2 groups of armed men converged on a gas station. A grandmother waited for her bus. A mother hurried to work. The stage was set for Pittsburgh's next tragedy. All the players in position, and nobody knew the script would be written in blood. October 13th, Friday night. A house party on Federal Street turns ugly. Words exchanged between John Hornezes Jr.'s crew and men connected to Sharon Troutman. Witnesses later told police it started over a girl. Or maybe money. Or maybe just because. Watch your back, someone said. This ain't over. October 14th, Saturday morning. Screenshots showed text messages flying. Instagram stories deleted minutes after posting. One message recovered by investigators, "See you at the spot." The Sunoco station on Cedar Avenue had become neutral ground. Both groups bought gas there. Both groups knew the cameras worked. Both groups thought that meant safety. That morning, surveillance footage shows Jalone Hines at pump 3. 5 hours later, John Hornezes Jr. fills up at the same pump. They don't cross paths. Not yet. But something had shifted. The threats weren't just words anymore. Someone posted a photo of a gun. Someone else responded with a location pin. The Sunoco station. By Saturday evening, both sides had made a decision. They'd settle this face-to-face. What they didn't calculate: innocent people use gas stations too. Innocent people wait at bus stops. Innocent people die in crossfire. 9:45 p.m. Security footage shows John Hornezes Jr.'s group arriving at Sunoco. 3 men exit a vehicle. They walk toward the store but don't go inside. They're waiting. 9:50 p.m. A black Hyundai Tucson appears on Cedar Avenue. It passes the gas station once, twice. The driver, later identified as Samuel Pez, is checking who's there. 9:55 p.m. Betty Jean Averett reaches her bus stop. She sets down her purse, checks the posted schedule. The number 54 should arrive at 10:08. She has 13 minutes to wait. She'll never get on that bus. 9:58 p.m. Jacqueline Mahalik walks quickly past the Giant Eagle, past the bus shelter. She glances at her phone, running late for her 10:15 shift. She has 17 minutes to live. 10 p.m. The Hyundai returns. This time it stops. Sharon Troutman sits in the passenger seat. In the back, another man investigators haven't named. All three are armed. 10:02. Someone shouts across the gas station lot. The surveillance audio is unclear, but witnesses heard. What's up now? What happens next takes 57 seconds. Hornezes and his two associates stand near the park adjacent to the station. They draw weapons. The men in the Hyundai respond. 23 shell casings will be recovered. 2 different calibers, multiple shooters firing from both sides. Betty Averitt doesn't run. Maybe she freezes. Maybe she doesn't understand what's happening until the bullets reach her. Jacqueline Mahalik is caught in the middle, walking between the shooters and their targets. Wrong place, wrong second, wrong everything. 10:03. The shooting stops. The Hyundai speeds north. One of Hornezes' associates stumbles to a white Hyundai Palisade with Florida plates and flees. John Hornezes Jr. lies dying in the parking lot. Betty Averitt has collapsed at the bus stop. Jacqueline Mahalik is on the sidewalk, blood pooling beneath her. The first 911 call comes at 10:05. There's people shot everywhere. Oh my God, they're not moving. Allegheny General Hospital sits 1 block away. The ambulances arrive in under 2 minutes. It won't matter. 3 people are dead. A 4th, Jalone Hines, has a bullet in his leg but will survive. The war has just begun. And somewhere across Pittsburgh, the men who pulled triggers are already planning their next moves. Because on these streets, every killing demands an answer. Every funeral becomes a target. In 13 days, they'll prove it. Question for you. You're pumping gas when bullets start flying. Do you run and risk becoming a target? Hide and hope they don't see you? Or try to help the wounded and risk your own life? North Side streets have their own definition of unacceptable, and they're already planning their response. October 16th, Sunday morning. Mayor Ed Gainey stands at the corner of Cedar and Stockton. Behind him, blood stains still mark the concrete. I couldn't imagine what that feels like. Gainey says about the victims' families, "We need the entire city to come together to deal with this violence."
I know it's tough right now. I know that there's a lot of families and friends who are hurting right now. And I know a lot of them feel like they should do something. So I wanted to do something with you. I want you to call and tell us what you know. I need you to speak up and say something. They shot up the sanctuary today.
His words echo across Pittsburgh, but in certain neighborhoods, different conversations are happening. Conversations about revenge, about who needs to pay, about which funeral to target. The Hornezes family starts planning John's service. They know the danger, they've heard the threats, they'll ask for police protection. They'll get officers who go to the wrong address. 13 days from now, 6 more people will bleed on Pittsburgh concrete. This time on church steps. This time during a funeral. Because in this story, every death demands another. Every funeral becomes a target. And innocent lives? They're just collateral damage in a war that nobody wins. October 16th, 4 a.m., Pittsburgh Police Major Crimes Unit transforms the North Side into a grid. 50 detectives, 6 different surveillance systems to analyze. One goal: find the shooters before they kill again. Detective David O'Neill leads the video team. Sunoco cameras, Giant Eagle security, ATM footage from across the street, traffic cameras at Stockton and Cedar, even a Ring doorbell from a house 2 blocks away. Every angle tells part of the story. The black Hyundai Tucson appears in frame after frame, license plate visible. Within hours, they identify the owner, Samuel Pegas, 30 years old. Criminal history includes a 2013 drug manufacturing conviction. The white Hyundai Palisade with Florida plates proves harder to trace. It appears briefly, picks up one of Hornezes' associates, then vanishes into the night. By noon on October 16th, something unusual happens. The phone tips start coming. Not 1 or 2, dozens. I saw who was in that car. I know where they went after. Check this Instagram story from last night. Commander Ford would later say he'd never seen this level of community cooperation. Maybe because Betty Averitt and Jacqueline Mahalik weren't targets. Maybe because killing grandmothers and mothers crosses a line even street code won't defend. October 17th. Jalone Hines is arrested at UPMC Presbyterian, still recovering from his leg wound. He's charged with 2 counts of criminal homicide for Betty Averitt and Jacqueline Mahalik's deaths. October 18th. U.S. Marshals find Sharon Troutman. The 19-year-old was in the Hyundai's passenger seat. Ballistics will match his gun to bullets that killed John Hornizes Jr. But arrests don't stop what's coming, because on Pittsburgh's north side, justice and revenge wear the same face. October 20th. The Hornizes family meets with funeral director to plan John's service. They choose Destiny of Faith Church on Brighton Road, a place of peace, a sanctuary. That same day, the threats begin. Text messages, social media posts quickly deleted, words whispered on street corners. The message is clear. John Hornizes Jr.'s funeral won't be peaceful. October 26th. The family formally requests police protection for the service. Pittsburgh Public Safety approves the request. 2 officers will be assigned. The funeral is in 48 hours. October 27th. The officers receive their assignment, but somewhere between dispatch and deployment, wires cross. The address they're given, a funeral home 3 blocks from the church. October 28th, 7 a.m. Officers arrive at the funeral home, empty parking lot, no activity. They radio dispatch, no funeral scheduled at this location. Stand by, comes the response. The officers wait, check again at 8 a.m., still nothing. At 8:45, they leave. Meanwhile, 3 blocks away, mourners begin arriving at Destiny of Faith Church. Paige Davis, John's godmother, notices immediately. No police presence. Where are the officers? She asks funeral staff. They should be here, someone responds. We requested them. 10 a.m. The hearse arrives, still no police. 11 a.m. 300 mourners fill the church. Gospel music plays, prayers begin, and outside multiple shooters take positions. The security camera at the church entrance records everything. Timestamp 12:02 p.m. A figure in dark clothing appears at the corner, then another, then more. Inside, the service continues. The pastor speaks about forgiveness, about breaking cycles of violence, about young lives lost too soon. Outside, fingers rest on triggers. 12:04 p.m. The shooting begins. What happens when a community asks for protection and receives none? When officers go to the wrong address while killers go to the right one? When a sacred space becomes a shooting gallery? Pittsburgh is about to find out. 12:04 p.m. October 28th. The first shot cracks through Brighton Heights air. Inside Destiny of Faith Church, 300 mourners freeze. Was that a car backfiring? Then comes the second shot, the third, then automatic fire. The church security camera captures figures running. Multiple shooters, different positions. This isn't random, it's coordinated. 5 shots. Pause. 15 more in rapid succession. Outside, 6 people fall. Blood spreads across church steps where minutes ago mourners hugged and shared memories. Inside, panic. Bodies hit the floor, this time from fear, not prayer. Mothers throw themselves over children. The elderly crouch behind pews. Someone screams, "They're shooting at the church!" The pastor's microphone picks up his words. "Get down, everyone down." Video from inside shows the chaos. A casket abandoned at the altar. Funeral programs scattered like confetti. A child's shoe left behind as families run for exits that might lead to death. The shooting lasts 90 seconds. 90 seconds to violate everything sacred. 90 seconds to prove nowhere is safe. Then silence. Then sirens. Police arrive to a scene they failed to prevent. 6 wounded outside, 1 in critical condition. Inside, traumatized mourners who came to bury one victim of gun violence and almost became victims themselves. The image that haunts Pittsburgh, uniformed officers carrying John Hornizes Jr.'s casket to the hearse, the funeral he couldn't have in peace. The protection that never came. Rob Dennis, standing near the church afterward, tells reporters, "You see how quiet it is now? It's always quiet like this. This doesn't happen here." But it did happen, at a church, during a funeral, in broad daylight. If not at church, then where? If not during final goodbyes, then when? If men with guns will shoot up a funeral, what boundary remains? 2 hours after the church shooting, Police arrest Sean Davis, 19. By evening, a 16-year-old joins him in custody. Both face attempted homicide charges. The investigation reveals what everyone already knows: retaliation for October 15th, which was retaliation for something before that, which was retaliation for something else. A cycle spinning so fast nobody remembers who started it. November 2nd. More arrests in the Cedar Avenue case, but some charges won't stick. January 2023. Homicide charges dropped against Sharon Troutman and Samuel Pegas. They still face conspiracy and weapons charges. The families speak. LaRonda Averett, Betty's daughter, please lay down your arms. It harms the city, the world, it hurts. Bridget Mahalik, Jacqueline's mother, her children will still live their lives without her. The statistics tell one story. 2022, Pittsburgh matches 2021's homicide rate by October. But numbers don't capture empty chairs at Sunday dinner. Numbers don't explain to children why mommy isn't coming home. Mayor Gainey keeps appearing at crime scenes. Keep making speeches. This has to stop, he says. But the streets have their own momentum, their own laws, their own terrible logic where shooting up a funeral makes sense to someone somewhere. Thank you for watching. Today, if you visit the corner of Cedar and Stockton, you'll find a memorial.